Ancient Greece is often remembered with thunder of heroes, the clamor of battles, the speeches of orators, and the marble brightness of temples. Yet behind the noise of history, there lies a quieter Greece, olive groves whispering in the wind, waves lapping against harbors, philosophers walking slowly through shaded colonnades, and myths told softly by the hearth at night. It was a land where gods spoke in whispers through rustling leaves of sacred oaks, where temples glowed gently at sunrise, and where fishermen rode calmly beneath endless sky. Even in stories of heroes Heracles, Odysseus, Achilles there are pauses of silence, moments of rest by the fire, of gazing at stars, of listening to the calm sea. This series will not chase after battles or loud festivals. Instead, it will drift slowly through myths and temples, through the quiet minds of philosophers, and through the steady rhythms of life. From the hum of bees in olive orchards to the hush of students listening to Plato, ancient Greece will reveal itself as a place of calm echoes, soft thoughts, and timeless beauty. Let us begin gently on the quiet shores where myths were born and wisdom took root. Ancient Greece has long since fallen into ruins. Its temples stand broken, its theaters silent, its markets empty, its statues withered. Yet in the hush of marble and the whisper of olive leaves, something endures. Greece's legacy is not only in histories written or battles fought, but in quiet echoes that still linger. Philosophy, art, poetry, drama, democracy, architecture, myth each began not in noise but in silence, in the stillness of thought, in the hum of loom, in the murmur of lyre. The legacy of Greece is not thunder of empire, but quiet that has lasted through centuries. The silence of stonous columns of temples broken, yet they rise against sky, white against blue. Travelers walk among them, sandals crunching stone, no priest, no crowd, yet silence holds divinity. Stones whisper of Athena, Zeus, Apollo, their hush stronger than words. Picture Acropolis at dawn. Tourists quiet, sun glows, Parthenon still, columns glowing gold, wind hums, doves coo, silence eternal. The whisper of Philosophers, scrolls of Plato, Aristotle, Epicurus, Zeno survive. Students read in libraries, teachers explain in classrooms, thinkers pause in parks. Their words born in quiet walks, now carried in whispers through centuries. Imagine scholar at desk, candle flickers, book open. He reads line. The unexamined life is not worth living. He pauses, thinks, silences. Teacher. The breath of theater. Greek drama lives still, performed in modern stages, studied in schools, read in solitude. Masks gone, chorus faded, yet rhythm of words endures. Pause of actor still carries silence born in stone theaters. Picture. Evening stage. Actor recites Sophocles. Audience hushed, lights dim. Silence binds ancient to present. The murmur of art. Greek vases in museums, frescoes in fragments, statues in halls. Visitors gaze. Whisper. Artist unknown, but his silence still seen in curve of vase, in line of robe, in gaze of marble eyes. Imagine gallery hall. Vase painted with chariot stands in glass. Child leans close. Whispers to parent. Silence connects centuries. The lull of myths still told. Zeus and Hera, Athena and Poseidon, Odysseus and Penelope. Stories once whispered at hearth, now read in books, spoken in classrooms, retold in films. Myths live because silence carried them. Parents to children, fireside to fireside. Picture night room. Parent reads Iliad to child. Child drowses, imagines heroes. Silence carries myth to dream. The seeds of democracy, though fragile, democracy first grew in Athens. Citizens gathered in Agora. Voices low, debates slow, votes cast. Today, parliaments, assemblies, councils echo their beginnings. Noise of politics remains, but beneath lies silence of idea. All voices matter. Imagine modern hall. Politician speaks. Behind him, ancient idea hums. Silence of Greece steady. The rhythm of daily life, from farmers sowing to women weaving, from soldiers marching to families eating. Rhythm of Greece's life continues in us. We still eat bread and olives, still walk roads, still sit at tables, still tell stories. Greece lives in our silence. Picture family at dinner today, bread broken, wine poured, laughter low, scene ancient, scene eternal. Silence of togetherness, the eternal olive grove lives still grow in Greece. Leaves shimmer silver in sun, branches twist with age. Same trees perhaps that shaded Plato, that gave oil for lamps, that fed Polis. Grove whispers still, silence unchanged. Imagine, hillside today, olive grove sways, cicadas sing. Traveler rests, closes eyes. Silence of millennia, the traveler of memory walk among ruins, read myths, hear echoes. Greece not gone, but within us in our words, our thoughts, our art, our silence. We are travelers upon their roads, carrying quiet legacy forward. Picture sunset ruin. Tourist stands, looks, listens. Wine hums, stone glows. Silence carries voice of past. The legacy in silence eat end. Greece not thunder of empire. Empires fall. Armies vanish, cities crumble. But silence remains, silence of thought, of beauty, of harmony. This silence whispers through time, soft yet eternal. The Greek legacy is not roar. It is whisper of olive leaves, hush of marble, murmur of myth, sigh of sea, and in that sigh lay eternity of civilization. Beneath the soft light of the Mediterranean sun, where hills rolled gently toward the sea and cicadas hummed like distant drums, there stretched the olive groves of Greece. Their trunks were twisted with age, their leaves silver green shimmering, like waves when wind passed. The olive tree was more than plant, it was symbol of peace, gift of gods, source of food and oil, heart of daily life. To walk through Olive Grove was to step into history, myth, and silence at once. The ancient treesome olive trees lived longer than men, longer even than cities. Generations passed, wars fought, temples built, yet trees endured, rooted deep, branches reaching sky. Their trunks gnarled, hollow, rough, but leaves forever renewing. Elders pointed to oldest trees, whispered, "This one saw my grandfather, and his before." Memory of land written in bark. Picture dawn in grove, sun golden, leaves shimmer, shepherd passes slowly, goats nibble, boy rests in shade. Tree older than memory stands, silent yet alive. Silence of centuries beneath its branches. Gift of Athena, myths told. Olive tree was gift of goddess Athena, who planted first tree upon Acropolis in contest against Poseidon. She offered fruit and oil, symbol of peace. He offered salt spring, symbol of sea. Judges chose Athena, city named Athens. Thus, olive became sacred tree of wisdom, of prosperity, of calm. Imagine Temple Hill. Priest points to olive tree, slender yet eternal. Worshippers bow, pour oil as offering. Wine stirs leaves, as if goddess whispers. City rests in her gift, silence blessed. The work of hands, families cared for groves with patience. Men pruned branches. Women gathered fruit, children climbed to shake olives loose. Harvest slow, gentle, not rushed. Olives pressed for oil, stored in clay jars, carried to markets. Oil lit lamps, anointed bodies. Blessed rituals. Olive became quiet companion of every life. Picture autumn harvest. Women spread cloths, children laugh, men shake branches. Olives fall, soft thuds. Later press groans, golden oil flows. Jars filled, stored in cool shade. Campfire glows, bread dipped in oil. Silence of day satisfied. Symbol of peace, seal of branch. Carried in ceremonies, placed in hands of envoys. Lifted as sign of peace. Victors crowned with olive wreaths, athletes honored with garlands. In silence of games, wreath placed, heads bowed, respect shared. Imagine Olympic grove. Athletes stand, breath steady. Elder crowns victor with olive branch. Crowd claps softly. Wind moves leaves, no trumpet, no war, only quiet honor. Songs of the grove, poets sang of olive in verses. Fiddlers strummed of trees in orchards. Songs praised its endurance, its calm, its gift. Children learned verses by heart, repeated in festivals. Grove echoed not with noise, but with music of memory. Picture evening fire. Poet recites, Olive stands when cities fall, when men grow old. When sea roars, it endures, children repeat not. Silence wraps grove, stars rise. The grove as sanctuary, travelers rested in groves, finding shade, food, comfort. Shepherds napped, philosophers mused, lovers whispered. Grove offered peace, silence, shelter. Leaves rustled like lullaby, cicadas hummed like prayer. Imagine noon rest. Traveler lies beneath tree packed aside him. He eats bread, dips in oil, drinks water. Birds sing, wind hums, silence soft. Grove holds him gently. Rituals of the olive, that branches burned in temples, oil poured in offerings, wreaths woven for festivals. Shamans and priests alike honored tree as sacred. Births blessed with oil, death soothed with oil, journeys begun with oil sprinkled. Olive wove through ritual, life and death alike. Picture shrine. Priest lifts bowl of oil, pours upon fire, flame rises, smoke drifts. Worshippers bow, murmur prayers. Grove outside whispers. Silence deep. The eternal grove. Generations changed. Empires rose, yet groves endured. Children of children harvested, pressed oil, sang songs. Today, olive trees still stand in Greece, some ancient, some new. Their silence still whispers myth. Their branches still cradle peace. The olive grove was not roar of war, it was sigh of leaves, hum of bees, murmur of presses. And in that murmur lay eternity of Greece. Across the hills and islands of Greece, temples rose slowly into sky, not as fortresses of war, but as sanctuaries of silence. Their columns stood like trees turned to stone. Their marble steps warmed by sunlight, their roofs glowing softly at dawn. Though pilgrims gathered, priests prayed, and festivals came and went, the temple's voice was not loud, it was steady, calm, eternal. Temples were bridges between men and gods. Yet they also offered men quiet places to reflect, to rest, to listen. The shape of stillness. Temples were built in harmony with land. Columns rose like trunks of grove, lintels stretched like horizon, roofs lifted like hills. To enter temple was to step from sun and wind into cool shadow, where silence echoed softly. Walls bare, yet light painted them gold. Air smelled of incense, of oil lamps, of fresh flowers. Picture dawn. Marble temple glows pink in rising sun. Pilgrims climb slowly, sandals tapping. Inside, cool air greets. Statues shimmer faintly. Outside, sea murmurs. Inside, silence hums. The columns as guardians, each column bore weight of sky. They stood not only for strength, but for order, rhythm, harmony. Their flutes whispered when wind touched. Their shadows stretched across stones. Pilgrims touched them, felt eternity beneath fingers. Columns not loud but steadfast, guardians of calm. Imagine new day. Sun-bright cicadas sing. Columns cast long shadows, cool upon stone. Child runs hand along grooves, feels time itself. Father bows head, whispers prayer. Silence steady, stones listening. The statue at the hearth at center stood statue Athena, with spear, Apollo with lyre, Zeus with thunderbolt. Yet though gods mighty, their presence within temple serene. Statues gleamed in gold, but eyes carved calm. Pilgrims gazed, not with fear, but with quiet awe. To see God in temple was to feel balance, not chaos. Picture shrine. Priest lights oil lamp, flame flickers on marble face. Worshippers bow, lift hands. No cry, no roar, only steady silence of reverence. Rituals of quiet offerings simple yet sacred. Bowls of oil, wreaths of flowers, handfuls of grain. Incense smoke rose slowly. Bells chimed softly. Priests whispered prayers. Ritual not noise, but rhythm. To give offering was to step into calm, to join silence of temple. Imagine evening ritual. Sun low, sky gold. Priest sprinkles oil on flame. Smoke drifts upward. Worshippers bow. Children quiet. Temple glows. Silence deepens. Festivals, and still as thou festivals gathered crowds. Temples remained places of balance. Songs sung, processions marched, wreaths carried. Yet temple itself held calm center. Even in joy, its stones whispered. Eternity. Picture Panathenaic procession. Streets filled, banners wave, youth sang the top hill. Temple stands still, watching. Procession climbs, enters, offers gifts. Noise fades, silence of temple enfolds. The temple and the Semini temples rose near, see it, their columns watching horizon. Sailors saw them from afar, prayed for safe journey, gave thanks for return. Temple stones reflected waves. Light shimmered. Silence held. Imagine island temple. Waves lap below cliffs. Gulls cry, sails flutter. Temple gleams above, steady, calm. Sailors bow before voyage, whisper thanks on return. Sea and stone embrace in silence. Philosophers and templess philosophers walked temple steps, not only to pray, but to think. They sat beneath columns, spoke softly of justice, truth, beauty. Students gathered, listened in shade. Temple gave space not only for gods, but for thought, reflection. Calm dialogue. Picture afternoon. Plato speaks quietly to students, seated in shadow of column. Breeze moves. Tunics. Sea hums nearby. No crowd, no noise, only steady voices. Thoughtful silence. The aging stone temples weathered storms, quakes, oars, roof fell, statues broken, yet columns stood, stones endured. Even ruins whispered calm, weeds grew, birds nested, wind hummed. Silence of ruins deeper than silence of new. Imagine ruin at sunset, columns broken, sky glowing. Traveler rests on fallen stone, listens to cicadas. He imagines prayers once sung here. Silence stronger than time. The eternal temple. Today, temples of Greece still rise, some whole, some ruins. Tourists wander, yet silence remains. Columns still stand, shadows still stretch, air still cool. Temples continue to whisper eternity, calm patience. The Greek temple was not roar of worship, was murmur of incense, sigh of sea, whisper of stone. And in that whisper lay sacredness of silence. In the shaded colonnades of Athens, beneath the olive trees, and beside the hum of the agora, philosophers walked slowly. Their tunics brushed against marble, their sandals tapped lightly upon stone. Their voices soft but steady. They did not seek to conquer land or gather wealth, but to shape thought, to polish questions, to lift minds gently toward truth. Philosophy in Greece was not thunder of command, but murmur of dialogue, whisper of reflection, silence of listening. The walk of the thinker. Philosophy often began in motion. Teachers and students strolled together, step for step, word for word. Question asked, answer given, silence paused, question asked again. They walked not to reach destination, but to let thought unfold like path beneath their feet. Picture morning. Walk. Plato leads group along shaded path, olive leaves shimmering. He asks softly, "What is justice?" Students listen, answer slowly. Cicadas hum, sea breeze cools. Steps gentle, thoughts steady. The agora and the colonnade. Philosophers spoke in agora, but also in quiet porticos, amid stalls of merchants and calls of traders. They found corners of calm, shaded pillars, stone benches. Here they sat, surrounded by life's murmur, yet apart, listening deeper. Their words blended with marketplace, yet rose above it. Imagine a day scene. Merchants called, coins clink, donkeys bray. Yet beneath colonnade, Socrates sits. Students circle. He asks, "What is courage?" Voice calm, eyes steady. Noise fades, silence of thought grows. The method of question. Socrates known not for answers, but questions. His voice gentle, probing, guiding. Students puzzled, forced to think, to see anew. Dialogue not battle, but dance. Steps forward, pauses, circles. Silence between words as important as words themselves. Picture twilight. Group sits by fountain. Sky turning red. Socrates asks, pauses. Student frowns, thinks, replies. Group nods, silence hums. Lesson learned not by command, but by reflection. The garden and the porch. Different schools rose in different places. Epicurus taught in garden, where flowers scented air, where peace found in friendship and simplicity. Zeno taught and painted. Porch, where pillars glowed with frescoes. Each place quiet, inviting. Steady. Imagine garden afternoon. Students recline on benches, figs shared, laughter soft. Epicurus speaks. Pleasure is not excess, but freedom from pain. Wine stirs. Leaves. Calm deepens. Silence carries lesson. The sea of thought. Philosophers often gazed at sea. Waves endless, horizon wide, taught patience, perspective. They compared thought to voyage, questions to wings. Truth to star guiding sailors. See not only backdrop, but teacher. Picture evening shore. Aristotle stands, staff in hand, students nearby, waves lap, gulls call, he points horizon, knowledge, like sea, has no end, students nod, silence answers. The dialogues of night at night, by lamplight discussions, continued, scrolls unrolled, wax tablets marked, voices soft, flames flickered, shadows moved, thoughts unfolded, night deep, air cool, silence vast perfect for reflection. Imagine night colonnade. Small oil lamps glow, students debate gently. Cicadas. Quiet, stars shine. Teacher smiles, listens, corrects softly. Thought flows, silence steady. The philosopher and the Paulist. How thinkers lived quietly, their ideas shaped cities. Justice, law, virtue. These grew from whispered dialogues. Leaders listened, poets echoed, laws changed, quiet voices built strong foundations. Picture council hall. Young man repeats teaching of Plato. Elders nod, law discussed. City guided, outside, step quiet. Inside thought rules. The philosophers' poverty. Many philosophers lived simply. Cloaks, thin, sandals worn, meals plain bread, olives, figs. Wealth not gold, silence, and truth their treasure. Their lives taught lesson beyond words. Simplicity itself wisdom. Imagine Diogenes. He lies in barrel, cloak his blanket. Passerby asks, "What do you desire?" He answers softly, "Only shade." Silence follows, meaning deep. The aging teacher with age. Philosophers slowed, but still walked, still asked, still listened. Students gathered, eager, respectful. Their words fewer, but heavier. Silence of elder philosopher carried more than long speeches. Picture elder walking slowly through grove. Cane taps, steps steady. Students follow quietly. He stops, looks at tree. To know life, watch how tree grows. He smiles. Silence answers. Legacy of the philosopher. Centuries passed. Empires rose. Yet their words endured. Scrolls copied. Dialogues studied. Names remembered. Today, their thoughts still whispered in classrooms. Their questions still asked. Their silence of reflection still guides. The Greek philosopher was not thunder of order. He was murmur of question, sigh of breeze in olive grove, whisper of sandals on stone. And in that whisper lay eternity of thought. In ancient Greece, myths were not always shouted in theaters or carved in marble friezes. Often, they were whispered in twilight, carried by voices of parents to children, sung softly by poets in village squares or murmured by travelers resting in inns. The myth was not only spectacle, but also lullaby stories that lulled the heart like a gentle tide, weaving gods, heroes, and mortals into calm patterns of meaning beneath their grandeur. Myths offered silence, comfort, and belonging, firelight, and familiar days, and families gathered around hearth. Fire crackled softly, shadows danced upon walls, bowls of bread and olives passed. Then elders spoke of Zeus in his thunder, Athena in her wisdom, Hermes in his swiftness. Children leaned close, eyes wide, silence wrapped room. Myth lived not only in temples, but in every quiet firelight. Picture winter night. Rain falls upon roof tiles, wind hums in shutters. Inside, family huddled, elders' voice steady. Once, long ago, gods walked among us. Fire glows, children listen, silence deepens. The murmur of heroes, heroes of myth, Heracles, Odysseus, Perseus often remembered for battles, yet also for pauses. Odysseus sat by shore, listening to sea. Heracles rested after labor, leaning on club. Perseus gazed at stars, wondering at fate. These moments, soft, human, gentle, passed in myth as quietly as great deeds. Imagine Odysseus by night sea, Waves lap, stars shine, he rests. Cloak wrapped, he thinks of home, silence deep. Hero not in roar of war, but in hush of longing. Myths of creation, stories of cosmos began not with noise, but with silence. Hesiod told how from chaos came earth, sky, sea, titans ruled. Then gods of Olympus, yet always before thunder, there was quiet beginning, creation remembered as slow unfolding, not sudden war. Pictured dawn hillside, shepherd hugs, from silence came all, from night came day, from earth came gods, his flock grazes, sun rises, myth lives softly in breath of song. The poet's voice bards wandered from town to town. Lyres slung across backs, they sang epics, but also short myths, tales of love, trickery, wisdom. Their voices not always loud, sometimes soft, to small groups and courtyards and taverns. Myths spread as much in whispers as in grand recitations. Imagine village square, poet sits, strums lyre, children gather, women pause weaving, none lean on staffs. He sings of Orpheus, voice tender. Eyes closed, song drifts into evening air, silence holds. Gods in everyday life, myths told not only of battles of gods, but of their quiet acts. Demeter teaching mortals to sow seed, Dionysus teaching vines to climb, Athena guiding weavers. Gods present not only in storms, but in bread, in wine, in quaff. Myth spoke softly through daily life. Picture woman weaving, she whispers, Athena guide my hands. Threads tighten, cloth smooths, child watches, repeats softly. Myth present in loom's rhythm, silence of work. Myths as comfort in grief, myths soothe. When child died, mother told story of Persephone, who too went to underworld but returned with spring. When storm struck, sailors told story of Poseidon's moods. Myth gave shape to sorrow, conned fear with tale. Imagine mourning mother. She rocks, whispers. She walks with Persephone. She will return with spring. Tears fall, voice steady. Silence comforts. The whisper of nature myths tied to nature nymphs and rivers, dryads and trees. Satyrs and hills. Every grove spring. Breeze carried story. To walk in nature was to walk among myths. Silence of forest filled with presence. Picture twilight grove. Leaves rustle, water trickles. Child whispers, a nymph lives here. He sets flower by rock above his head. Wine stirs, silence answers. The myth in ritual festivals enacted myths. But even in ritual silence remained. Torches lit at Eleusis processions. Walked slowly in, sung low. Participants whispered secrets, carried bread, poured libations. Myth lived in quiet devotion as much as in celebration. Imagine night at Eleusinian mystery. Torches flicker, chants low, steps slow, grain lifted, wine poured. No shout, no trumpet, only silence. Reverence. Myth alive. The longevity of storysmiths, told again and again by fires, by poets, by philosophers. They shifted, changed, grew, yet their calm essence remained. Even now in books and plays and dreams, they whisper still. The Greek myth was not thunder of gods alone. It was murmur of fire, sigh of sea, whisper of leaf, and in that whisper lay eternity of story. In ancient Greece, theater was born not in closed halls but beneath the open sky, carved into hillsides, facing sun and sea. The theaters of Greece were places where voices rose gently. Masks stared calmly, and stories unfolded with dignity. Though tragedies told of sorrow and comedies of laughter, there was always a quiet rhythm in theater. Pauses between words, silences between scenes, the hush of audience listening. The theater was not only spectacle, but also meditation, reflection, and conduct. The shape of the theaters were shaped like circles, embracing audience as if in arms. Stone seats rose tier by tier, orchestra lay at center, stage small yet powerful. To sit in theater was to sit within silence of stone, beneath vastness of sky. No roof blocked stars. No walls stopped wind. Performances blended with nature, crickets singing, sea humming, leaves whispering. Picture dawn theater. Empty seats gleam, dew upon stone, sun rising. Birds flit across stage. silence deep, awaiting voices. The masks of expression actors wore masks, faces still yet alive. Masks amplified voice, carried sound, gave clarity to role. Yet behind mask lay silence, the actor's true face hidden, his soul quiet. Mask reminded audience that roles are temporary, truth eternal. Imagine rehearsal. Actor lifts mask of sorrow, holds it to face. He speaks softly, O fate. Voice echoes, mask still, silence powerful. The chorus of Monte chorus stood at heart, voices blending, movements slow. They sang not loudly but in rhythm, commenting, guiding, questioning. Their songs like tide, steady, calm. Chorus gave balance to stage, silence to reflection. Picture chorus in twilight. Dozens move in unison, steps slow, voices deep. Audience hushed, stars above. Silence between chants, as meaningful as chants themselves. Tragedy as meditation. Tragedies of Aeschylus, Sophocles, Euripides spoke of sorrow, yet they did so with dignity. Heroes suffered. Gods judged, fates turned, but plays unfolded slowly with pauses, laments, silences. Audience wept quietly, learned patience, found wisdom in calm grief. Imagine scene of Antigone. She stands still, voice low. I must bury my brother. Silence falls, audience breathes slow. Tragedy becomes reflection, not noise. Comedy as gentle. Laughter. Comedies of Aristophanes brought laughter, yet laughter to soften soul. Jests pointed at politics, at neighbors, at gods. But laughter in open air drifted like breeze, cleansing, gentle. Picture summer noon. Play unfolds, audience chuckles, smiles, claps softly. Wine carries laughter over valley. No roar, only murmur of joy. The audience in silence, thousands sat in stone seats. Yet silence often deeper than words, breath of crowd steady, eyes fixed, minds attentive. When actor paused, theater stilled, nature itself seemed to listen. Silence part of performance, shaping meaning. Imagine sunset play, actor raises hand, pauses, cicadas stop. Gulls cry, wind sighs, audience holds breath. Moment eternal, silence profound. Ritual and theater. Theater not entertainment alone, but ritual. Plays performed at festivals of Dionysus. Offerings made, processions walked. Theater was prayer in form of story, devotion in form of mask, silence. Honored gods as much as song. Picture festival morning. Procession climbs hill, wreaths carried, wine poured. Then play begins, chorus sings, audience hushed. Ritual flows, theater sacred. Theater and philosophers to saw theater as lesson. Plays showed justice, pride, fate, virtue. Audience reflected, questioned, learned. Theater part of education, soft teacher of people. Imagine philosopher, seated, listening. He nods, strokes beard, whispers. So pride leads to fall, students listen to. Theater becomes classroom beneath sky, the ruins that remain today. Theaters still stand, stone seats worn, stages broken, yet silence remains. Tourists sit, listen to cicadas, imagine voices. Even without actors, ruins perform silence itself. Picture Epidaurus Theater at dusk, seats empty, sky pink. Traveler sits alone, closes eyes. He hears echoes, feels calm. Silence acts still. Legacy of the theater. Greek theater was not roar of crowd. It was murmur of chorus, sigh of masks, hush of audience, whisper of wind. And in that whisper lay eternity of story, of reflection, of calm. The sea surrounded and shaped Greece more than any wall or mountain. Its waters curved around islands, lapped at harbors, whispered against rocky shores. To the Greeks, the sea was not only path of trade and war, but also source of myth, of song, of thought. It was endless mirror of sky, endless teacher of patience, endless rhythm of calm. Sailors listened to it, poets sang of it, philosophers watched its horizon. The sea gave Greece both its restlessness and its serenity, its journeys and its stillness. Harbors at dawn. Greek harbors woke softly. At dawn, before markets bustled, before sails lifted, sea lay still, reflecting pink sky. Fishermen moved quietly, tying ropes, mending nets, whispering greetings. Lamps flickered, gulls called, waves tapped gently on wood. Dawn in harbor was calm ritual, repeated for centuries. Picture Piraeus harbor. At sunrise, boats sway, oars rest. Men sip wine, nets folded, cats curl on crates. Air cool, silence deep, broken only by lap of tide. Fishermen and their songs. Fishermen knew sea's moods. They set out at night, stars guiding, lamps glowing. They hauled nets, whispered prayers to Poseidon, sang softly to pastime. Songs carried across water, blending with waves. Their labor quiet, steady, enduring. Imagine moonlit sea, small boat drifts, nets cast. Fisherman hums low tune, another joins. Voices blend with waves. Stars endless above, sea endless below. Silence wrapped in song. Sailors and journeys for sailors. Sea was rowed. Triremes rowed steadily. Sails filled slowly. Oars struck rhythm. Voyages long yet often silent. Men focused. Waves constant. Shores faded. Horizons stretched. Sea taut. Endurance, patience, calm. Picture trireme at noon. Sun bright, sea blue. Oars dip in unison. Splash soft. Captain silent. Men steady. Ship moves like thought across page. Myths of the sea. Myths flowed from sea. Poseidon with trident. Nereids in waves. Sirens singing softly. Odysseus drifted long years across waters, tested by storms, lulled by calms. Sea was stage of myth, but also whisperer of quiet. Heroes paused upon shores, gazed at horizon, listened to waves. Imagine Odysseus on lonely isle. He sits by surf, cloak wrapped, waves lap gently, gulls cry. He whispers, home. Sea answers with sigh, silence deeper than storm. The islands, like stars, islands dotted sea like stars across night. Each held villages, temples, groves. Boats moved softly between, carrying oil, wine, stories. Islanders knew sea's whispers, sang its songs, lived in its rhythm. Picture small island noon. Children splash, women hang nets, men mend boats. Hills green, sea blue, silence broken by laughter. Life steady, sea eternal. The philosopher by the shore. Philosophers to loved sea. They walked beaches, listened to waves, compared thought to tide, truth to horizon. Sea reminded them of vastness, of change, of eternity. Imagine Aristotle on shore. He gestures to waves, all flows, all returns. Students listen, breeze stirs, silence carries meaning. Sea hums agreement. The sail home for sailors. Greatest joy was return, harbor in sight. Families waiting, fires glowing, silence of voyage gave way to murmurs of reunion, yet always framed by calm sea. Picture dusk harbor. Sail approaches, children wave, women light lamps, men cheer softly, nets carried ashore. Sea glows with last light, silence steady, the storm, and the calm. Sea had storms. Yet even these ended in calm. After thunder, after waves, silence returned, more profound. Sailors respected sea's fury, but trusted its balance. Calm always returned as sleep follows wake. Imagine night storm, waves crash, lightning flares. Men cry out, ropes strain. Then dawn breaks, sea glass smooth, gulls cry. Silence restored, hearts eased. Eternal sea today. Greek seas still shimmer, boats still drift, fishermen still sing, tourists still listen. Waves lap as they did in Homer's day. Gulls cry as in Plato's. Sea unchanged, silence eternal. Greek sea was not roar of battle, it was lap of wave, hum of sail, sigh of fisherman's song, and in that sigh lay eternity of inspiration. In ancient Greece, festivals filled the year, weaving together myth, worship, games, and gatherings. Yet though they could be grand, with processions and contests, they also carried moments of stillness, quiet meals shared with neighbors, songs sung under olive trees, prayers whispered before statues. Festivals were not only noise of crowds, but also calm rhythm of community, circles of people breathing together beneath eternal sky. The procession at dawn. Festivals often began with processions. At dawn, people gathered, torches still glowing. From night, wreaths of flowers upon heads. They walked slowly through streets, carrying offerings of bread, oil, or wine. Steps steady, songs low, drums soft. Procession more meditation than march. Picture Panathenaic procession in Athens, marble streets pale, sky gold. Youths carry sacred robe for Athena, elders lift branches, children scatter petals. City hushed, silence broken only by chant. The feast of familious families prepared feasts, bread fresh, olives brined, lamb roasted, wine poured, yet meals not rushed or loud, they were steady, calm, shared with laughter gentle. Neighbors exchanged plates, guests welcomed, to eat together was part of worship, part of joy. Imagine summer courtyard, tables shaded, bread torn, cheese passed, children laugh, women smile, men pour wine, cicadas hum, vines rustle, feast glows with quiet joy. The games of youth festivals also held games, boys raced barefoot, girls danced in circles. Youths wrestled, yet cheers often soft, clapping gentle, laughter warm. Games not only contest, but play shared happiness. Picture meadow outside city, boys dash across grass, mothers clap softly, girls link hands, dance to flute, youths wrestle. Then embrace, smiling, sky wide, silence kind, music and song, flutes played, lyres strummed, voices sang hymns. Songs rose not in thunder, but in gentle rhythm, blending with breeze, with sea, with cicadas. Music gave festival soul, soft and steady. Imagine evening square, poet sings into Apollo. Lyre notes shimmering, children hum along, elders nod. Stars rise, music drifts, festival becomes lullaby of city. Ritual and offering central to festival was offering oil poured, grain sprinkled, fire lit. Priests raise hands, people bowed. Ritual slow, steady, calm, silence deeper than words, reverence clear. Picture temple courtyard. Priest lifts bowl, pours oil, flame rises, crowd bows, murmurs, olive leaves rustle, silence fills. Festival turns sacred. The theater within festive almany. Festivals included plays. Crowds gathered, chorus sang, actors performed. Yet even here silence held power. Pause of actor, hush of audience, sigh of wind through columns. Festival became lesson, reflection. Imagine Dionysian festival. Stage lit by sun, actors masked, chorus chanting, audience quiet. Absorbed, play ends, crowd claps softly. Festival, breathes, quiet corners amid crowds, quiet corners always found. Lovers walked olive groves, children napped beneath trees, elders told stories softly. Festivals not only gathering, but chance for rest, reflection, connection. Picture orchard, families sit beneath branches, sharing figs, children sleep on rugs, dogs curl beside, voices low, breeze soft. Festival hums gently. The market of festival markets blossomed with festival spots, fabrics, fruits displayed. Sellers called softly, buyers bargained kindly. Market hung warm, steady, no roar. People wandered slowly, enjoying goods, tasting, smiling. Imagine festival market. Rugs bright, grapes piled, honey jars gleam. Woman hands bread to child, man buys cup of wine, flute plays in distance, silence shaped into gentle murmur. Night of lamps is sunset, lamps lit, fires glowed, songs continued. Families walked streets, carrying torches, sitting on steps, talking, night air cool, stars bright. Festival faded into calm, into memory. Picture Athens at night. Hundreds of lamps flicker. Olive smoke drifts. Youth sing softly, elders smile. Children doze. City glows, silence wraps. The eternal festival today, echoes remain. Festivals modern, yet still carry calm rhythm of gathering, of shared bread, of song beneath sky. Joy still found not in noise but in gentle togetherness. The Greek festival was not roar of crowd. It was murmur of prayer, sigh of flute, whisper of laughter, and in that whisper lay eternity of joy. Not all schools of Greece stood as stone walls and marble halls. Many were open groves, shaded courtyards, porches of painted columns. Here philosophers gathered students, not to thunder speeches, but to guide gently, to question softly, to let wisdom unfold like branches in spring. Learning in Greece was not always noise of lectures, but silence of listening, slow rhythm of dialogue, patience of thought ripened beneath sun and leaves. The Academy of Plato in a grove of olives outside Athens, Plato founded his academy. No towering walls, only shaded paths, simple benches, wide sky. Students gathered beneath trees, walked slowly, asked questions, shared ideas. Plato spoke not as ruler, but as guide, pointing beyond words, toward ideals. Picture morning grove, dew on leaves, birds call, students gather. Plato gestures. Truth is not in shadows, but in light. They nod, listen. Breeze stirs, silence deep. The Lyceum of Aristotle taught in Lyceum, walking paths with students, observing plants, animals, stars. His lessons flowed from world itself. Leaves in grove, fish in river, motions of sky. Students followed, writing slowly, asking gently. School alive with quiet observation. Imagine noon walk. Aristotle bends to pluck leaf, shows veins, all life connected. Students note, nod. Cicadas hum, sunlight filters, silence of nature blends with thought. The garden of Epicurus. Epicurus opened school and garden, teaching that pleasure lies not in excess, but in peace, friendship, freedom from pain. Students reclined on benches, shared figs, listened to calm words. School like family, thought like meal, nourishing, simple, quiet. Picture afternoon garden, bees hum, flowers bloom. Epicurus smiles, happiness is bread, water, friend beside you. Students laugh softly, silence rests like shade. The Stoa of Zeno taught in painted porch. The Stoa where pillars rose, frescoes glowed. He taught endurance, harmony, living with nature. His voice steady, his manner calm. Passersby paused, listened. Porch open, school open, thought open. Imagine twilight porch, pillars gold, frescoes shine. Zeno stands cloak plain. He says, endure with courage, live with reason. Listeners quiet, nod slowly. Silence speaks within. Learning in silence. Greek schools valued silence as much as speech. Students listened long before speaking, reflected before replying, paused after hearing. Lessons sank like rain into soil, slow, steady, nourishing. Picture shaded bench. Student frowns, thinks, hesitates. Teacher waits, smiles, patient. Finally, student answers, voice soft. Silence embraces learning. Daily life of schools. Lessons flowed with day, morning walks, midday talks, evening reflections, meals shared, scrolls read, games played. Schools not prisons of rules, but gardens of growth. Learning lived with rhythm of life. Imagine evening courtyard. Students sit with wine, bread, figs. Teacher tells story of Heracles as example of virtue. Laughter gentle, stars rise. Lesson glows like lamp. The influence of schools from quiet grows. Thoughts spread across Greece, into courts, markets, temples. Ideas of justice, virtue, friendship, reason shaped lives, guided leaders, inspired poets. Quiet dialogues beneath trees echoed louder than wars. Picture council hall. Young man recalls Plato's teaching. He speaks. Justice is harmony. Elders nod. City shifts. Lesson born in grove shapes polis. The elder teacher with age. Philosophers slowed, but still taught. Students leaned close, eager. Teacher's voice softer, pauses longer, words heavier. School quieter, yet deeper. Imagine elder in grove. He whispers, wisdom is knowing how little we know. Students silent, thoughtful. Wind rustles leaves. Lesson eternal. The legacy of school centuries past, yet memory remained. Ruins of Lyceum, of Academy still visited. Names of Plato, Aristotle, Epicurus, Zeno still spoken. Their schools gone, their thought eternal. Silence of their groves still whispers through time. The philosopher's school was not roar of command. It was murmur of question, sigh of breeze, whisper of leaves. And in that whisper lay eternity of wisdom. In ancient Greece much is remembered of gods and heroes, of philosophers and soldiers. But behind their stories stood the quiet hands of artisans. It was the potter turning clay upon his wheel, the sculptor chiseling marble in calm patience, the painter bending over vase by lamplight, the mason fitting stone with care, their names often lost, but their works endured. Vases glowing with myth, temples rising in order, statues gazing with timeless calm. The artisan's work was not thunderous, but steady. Through their silence, Greece found its shape. The potter, at the wheel, potters sat at wheels, clay moist, hands steady. The wheel spun softly. Hum of rhythm like heartbeat. Clay rose beneath. Touch shaped into bowl, jar, amphora. Fingers smooth, palms guided. Work repeated day after day. Yet each vessel unique. Picture workshop at dawn. Potter leans forward. Lamp glows, wheel turns. Child brings water. Apprentice kneads clay. Silence broken only by drip of water. Creak of wheel. Vessel grows, timeless. The glow of the kiln. Clay vessels fired in kilns. Heat rising, flames glowing. Red. Potters watched carefully, adjusting air, listening to crackle. Hours passed in patience. When cool, vases emerged, black figures upon red, red upon black. Myths danced on surface. Heroes and gods painted in quiet detail. Imagine night kiln. Fire glows, smoke drifts. Potter peers, waits. Whispers prayer to Hephaestus. By morning, kiln opened, vessels gleam. Silence holds their beauty. The sculptor of marbline quarries, marble cut from mountains, hauled to workshops. Sculptors struck chisels slowly, chips falling like snow. Days, months, years for single statue. Yet each blow careful, each pause meaningful. Statue emerged not with noise, but with silence of patience. Picture sculptor at midday. He wipes brow, lifts chisel, taps lightly. Nose takes shape, folds of robe soften. Eyes deepen, workshop quiet but for rhythm of stone. Statue gazes, eternal calm. The painter of vases painters bent over pots, brushes fine, lines delicate. They painted myths, Theseus slaying Minotaur, Achilles racing chariot, Heracles resting after labor. Yet even in heroic scenes, strokes calm, precise, balanced, silence guided brush. Imagine evening studio. Oil lamp flickers, vase turns, painter bends and steady. He paints ship with oars dipping, waves curving. Outside crickets sing, inside silence deep. The mason of stone temples rose through a work of masons. Stones cut, lifted, fitted, polished. No engines, only hands, ropes, pulleys, patience. Columns rose slowly, evenly. Masons seldom praised, yet without them temples not stand. Their silence built eternity. Picture hillside temple rising. Dozens of men push stone, ropes creak, foreman lifts hand. They stop, fit block, hammer taps, stone settles, work resumes. No shouts, only rhythm. Silence shapes sacred. The weaver of cloth, women wove wool into cloth, linen into garments, looms. Creaked, shuttles slid, threads crossed, patterns formed slowly, geometric, floral, mythic. Cloth for robes, blankets, sails. Weaving daily, steady, timeless. Imagine courtyard loom. Woman sits, hands busy, child plays nearby. She hums into Athena, goddess of weaving. Cloth grows inch by inch, silence hums with thread. The jeweler and metal worker, gold, silver, bronze, shaped into rings, cups, figurines. Fire glowed, hammers tapped, files smooth, jewelry small but intricate, gleaming quietly. Metalwork adorned temples, homes, festivals. Each piece product of patience. Picture jeweler at bench. Flame flickers, gold softens. He bends wire, sets stone, work silent, focused. Final cup gleams like captured sun. The anonymous creator, most artisans not remembered by name. Their work signed rarely, often simply made by the potter. Yet, their creations endured longer than kings. Their silence gave them eternity, more lasting than speeches. Imagine broken vase in ruin. Shards scattered, painted horse still visible. No one recalls maker, yet image survives. Silence keeps memory. Artisans and the polis, how humble. Artisans shaped polis. Their jars stored oil. Their temples honored gods. Their statues inspired pride. Their cloth clothed citizens. Polis not only ideas of philosophers, but labor of hands. Without artisans, polis empty. Picture city market, stalls of pottery, statues, cloth, jewelry. Citizens buy, barter, smile. Behind each piece, artisan and scene silent, yet city thrives upon them. Legacy of the artisan today. Greek vases in museums, temples in ruins, statues in holes. Still whisper artisans touch, visitors gaze, imagine. Hands that shaped, carved, painted, silence of artisan still speaks. The Greek artisan was not roar of fame. He was hum of wheel, tap of chisel, sigh of brush, and in that sigh lay eternity of Greece. In ancient Greece, the gymnasium was more than a place of exercise. It was a place of balance where the body was strengthened, the mind sharpened, and the spirit calmed. Beneath open skies and among shaded colonnades youths and elders gathered. To train, to study, and to speak. The gymnasium was not thunder of battle or roar of crowd, but quiet rhythm of discipline, of breath, of steps upon sand. It was temple not of stone, but of body and thought together. The shape of the gymnasiums often built near rivers or groves, open courtyards lined with columns, sandy grounds for wrestling, shaded porches for lessons, water channels cooled, air, trees offered shade, birds sang. It was place alive, yet calm. To enter gymnasium was to step into harmony. Picture morning courtyard. Sand raked smooth, dew glistens. Students arrive, cloaks folded, sandals set aside. Trainer nods, silence holds. Day begins with calm ritual. Training of the body exercises simple yet steady. Youths ran along tracks. Their steps soft rhythm. Wrestlers grappled gently. Sand muffling falls. Javelins thrown in arcs. Discus glided through air. Long jumps landed with thuds. No shouting, only breath steady. Trainer's voice calm. Imagine the day training. Sun-high bodies gleam with oil. Boys wrestle, laughter soft, falls cushioned. Others run laps, sandals tapping. Trainer claps slowly, nods. Silence hums with motion. The oil and the bath after exercise. Youths anointed bodies with oil, scraping clean with strigils. Ritual slow, deliberate calming. Then came bath swarm. Pools, cool rivers, steam rising, bodies cleansed, mind soothed. Gymnasium not exhaustion, but renewal. Picture bath chamber. Steam drifts, men sit quietly, water ripples. One speaks softly, another nods. No roar, only murmurs. Silence of rest. Lessons of the mind alongside training. Philosophers and teachers gathered. They taught geometry, poetry, rhetoric, ethics. Students sat on benches in colonnade, scrolls unrolled, voices low. Body tired, mind open. Thought entered easily. Imagine shaded porch. Students sit. Aristotle gestures to diagram on wax tablet. He says, the body must serve the mind the body. Cicadas hum, breeze cool, lesson absorbed in calm. The gymnasium as communitariat was meeting place. Neighbors greeted, elders advised, friends laughed, strangers welcomed, guests honored. Polis gathered quietly in gymnasium, bound by discipline and fellowship. Picture evening courtyard. Men sit in circle, wine shared, stories told. Children play, youths spar gently, elders watch. Silence woven with laughter. The spirit of harmony. Gymnasium symbol of harmony, body, mind, and spirit balanced. Too much strength without wisdom dangerous. Too much thought without health fragile. Here Greeks sought middle path, communion of all. Imagine trainer speaking to youth. Run, but also read. Wrestle, but also think. Balance, always balance. Youth nods, silence affirms. Festivals of sport. From gymnasiums came games, Olympics, contests, festivals, yet training itself quieter than competition. The calm before cheers. The steady rhythm of preparation, the silence of discipline. Picture boy throwing discus in practice. Arc graceful, landing soft, no crowd, only teacher nodding, silence greater than applause. The aging athleters still came to gymnasiums, though slower. They walked tracks, advised youths, told stories of past games. Their presence reminder that strength fades, but wisdom grows. Silence of elder balanced vigor of young. Imagine old man seated on bench, cane at side. He watches youths wrestle, smiles softly. He recalls his own contests, but speaks little, silence his medal. The legacy of the gymnasium today, ruins of gymnasiums. Still stand stone outlines, columns broken, sand long gone, yet air still hums with memory, of feet running, of voices teaching, of waters cleansing. Gymnasium silence endures. The Greek gymnasium was not roar of stadium, it was rhythm of breath, murmur of lesson, sigh of steam, and in that sigh lay eternity of harmony. In every Greek city, the agora lay at its heart. It was more than a marketplace, it was the open breath of the polis, the space where people gathered, where goods were traded, where laws were spoken, and where philosophers strolled among merchants. Yet though it pulsed with life, it was not always loud. Beneath its hum, there was a rhythm of calm. Sandals brushing stone, voices lowered in barter, pigeons fluttering from roof to roof. The murmur of fountains. The agora carried both the life of a city and the silence of belonging. The shape of the agoras were wide open squares, bordered by stones-covered porches with columns, cool and shaded. Statues of gods watched quietly, altars smoked with incense, fountains trickled, market stalls stretched across ground, laid with fruit, olives, fish, cloth. People wandered slowly, pausing to greet, to buy, to speak. Picture morning agora, sun pale, shadows long. Merchants set jars upon rugs, women place figs in baskets, men unroll bolts of cloth. Pigeons peck at crumbs, silence beneath gentle murmur. Merchants called not with shouting, but with steady voices, inviting softly. Customers touched goods, weighed fruit, examined fabric, bartered gently, exchange carried patience. Respect, market not chaos, but rhythm, imagine. Noon stall, woman lifts jar of honey, merchant smiles, says, sweet as Mount High meadows flowers. She tastes, nods, pays, laughter soft, voices low, silence steady. The bread and the fish staples of life found here, bread warm from ovens, fish fresh from sea, olives from groves. Bakers laid loaves on tables, their crust still steaming. Fishermen placed shining catch on reeds, scales glinting. Smells mingled fresh, earthy calm. Picture fishmonger at dawn. He arranges catch in neat rows, wipes brow, hums. Baker nearby carries tray of loaves, steam rising. Buyers pause, inhale, smile. Silence between exchanges soft. The agora's meeting place, not only goods traded, but words. Citizens debated, poets recited, heralds announced. Yet even debates carried pauses, reflection. People gathered in circles, listening, nodding, thinking. Agora both market and mind. Imagine philosopher speaking in stoic shade. He says, justice must be harmony. Listeners quiet, pondering. Children chase pigeons nearby, laughter blending with thought. Agora alive yet calm. The fountains and the shadimid bustle. Fountains offered rest. Water splashed softly. Travelers sat, drinking, cooling. Trees spread shade, birds sang. People paused from trade, from speech, simply breathing. Agora gave silence even in its heart. Picture traveler resting at fountain. He cups water, drinks, sighs. Children lean to splash, pigeons flutter. Merchant nearby waits patiently, silence refreshed. Festivals in the agora on holy days. Altars smoked, processions passed, wreaths hung. Agora glowed with garlands, echoed with hymns. Yet even then, calm found in pauses of prayer and silence of offering. Imagine Panathenaic day, crowd moves, olive wreath carried. Priest sprinkles oil on altar. Murmur fades, silence holds. Festival breathes in square. The poor and the ritual came to agora, rich with fine cloaks, poor with small baskets. Yet within square all equal in presence. All walked same stones, all drank same water. Agora offered calm equality. Picture ragged man with figs, wealthy man with cloak of purple. Both pause at same stall, taste olives, smile. Silence binds them. The agora at dusk as sun lowered. Stalls folded, jars carried home, pigeons roosted. Merchants tired, yet content. Families walked slowly out, bread in baskets, oil in jars. Agora emptied, silence deepened. Picture dusk square, shadows long, columns gold, last merchant packs figs. Yawns, cat leaps onto empty stall, silence of day's end, the legacy of the Goratade. Ruins of Agoras remain stones, columns, broken statues. Tourists walk, red signs, yet pigeons still flutter, wind still hums, fountains still trickle. Silence of market lives on. The Greek agora was not roar of bazaar, it was murmur of barter. Sigh of fountain, whisper of sandals on stone. And in that whisper lay eternity of community. In ancient Greece, beyond temples and markets, beyond theaters and gymnasiums, there was the quiet circle of family, within simple homes of mud, brick, or stone, with courtyards shaded by vines and hearths glowing with small fires. Life unfolded softly. Family was not always loud celebration, but calm rhythm of meals, of lessons, of work shared. Bonds woven not in noise but in silence, mother humming as she weaves, father teaching son in courtyard, grandmother telling stories by firelight. The Greek home was heartbeat of polis. Its compulse steadied the shape of the home Greek homes. Modest walls plain, streets narrow, but within lay quiet courtyards. Rooms built around central open square where vines grew, birds fluttered, water jars stood. Courtyard gave light, shade, air, life centered here, meals shared, children played, work done. Picture afternoon courtyard, sun high, vines heavy with grapes, shadows soft, mother kneels grinding grain, father repairs sandals, child rolls clay ball, dove coos from roof, silence of family life hums. The mother's hands, mothers carried rhythm of home. They spun wool, wove cloth, baked bread, drew water. Their work steady, their voices soft, their hands shaping daily life. Children learned by watching, listening. Songs hummed as bread baked, prayers whispered as cloth woven. Imagine dawn. Mother nails at hearth, kneads dough, fire glows. She hums into Hestia, goddess of hearth. Child stirs, watches, smiles. Silence wrapped in warmth. The fathers guidance, fathers tended fields, tended shops, taught sons crafts, stories, values. At night they spoke of ancestors, of polis, of duties, their presence calm, their lessons steady. Picture evening, father sits in courtyard, carves wood, son watches, asks, why do we honor gods? Father replies softly, because they give us life, as we give care to them. Silence holds lesson. The children's laughter, children played in dust, chased pigeons, rolled hoops, sang rhymes. Their laughter lifted roofs, softened work, yet even play had calm gained simple. Joy gentle, childhood's steady rhythm of discovery. Imagine, midday lane, children chase hoop, girls clap rhythm for song, boys toss figs. Laughter echoes softly, mothers smile from doorways. Silence of joy shared. The grandparents' stories, elders held memory. Grandmothers told myths at fire, grandfathers recalled battles, journeys, seasons. Their voices slow, calm, heavy with time. Children leaned close, eyes wide. Silence between words as powerful as stories. Picture winter hearth, grandmother wrapped in shawl. Tells of Persephone and spring. Fire flickers, children nod, drowse. Silence cradles tale. Meals together, meals not feast, but simple bread, olives, cheese, figs, fish. Families sat on benches, shared from bowls, passed cups of watered wine. Conversation low, steady. Meal more than food, bond of togetherness. Imagine summer evening, family sits in courtyard. Lamp glows, mother passes bread, father pours wine. Child eats figs, crickets sing, silence content. Work and rest days filled with rhythm, men to fields, women to loom, children to chores, yet always balance of rest. Afternoon shade in courtyard. Song by loom, talk at fountain. Work not frenzy, but steady calm. Picture midday pause. Family rests beneath vine, eats bread, drinks water. Breeze cool, silence deep. Soon work resumes, but peace lingers. Rituals at home, families prayed daily at hearth, to Hestia, at shrines, to ancestors, at altars in courtyards. Oil sprinkled, bread offered, wine poured. Rituals simple, quiet, faith woven into daily life like thread into cloth. Imagine dawn prayer. Father sprinkles the oil on flame, mother bows, children clasp hands. Smoke rises, silence answers. Home blessed, the seasons of family seasons, family grew. Babies cried softly, children laughed. Youths prepared for marriage, elders faded. Life circle mirrored by circle of polis. Joys and sorrows both carried with calm. Picture spring, birth, mother rocks child, hums lullaby. Grandmother smiles, father touches head gently. Silence holds blessing. Picture autumn death, elder lies still, family gathered. Oil sprinkled, hymn sung, tears quiet, voices low, silence holds memory. The eternal home thou centuries past. Ruins remain, courtyards crumble, hearths cold. Yet, memory endures, families still gather, still pray, still eat bread and olives. Silence of Greek home eternal. The Greek family was not thunder of history. It was hum of loon, sigh of dove, whisper of prayer, murmur of story, and in that murmur lay eternity of bonds. When we think of Greek soldiers, we imagine bronze helmets gleaming, shields clashing, battles raging. Yet behind the roar of war lay silence, the quiet discipline of the phalanx, the steady rhythm of feet marching, the calm breath before clash. The Greek soldier was not always in storm of battle. Much of his life was in training, in waiting, in standing shoulder to shoulder with comrades in patient order. The strength of Greece lay not only in courage, but in calm discipline, in unity of silence. The armor and the weight soldiers' hoplites wore bronze helmets, cuirasses, greaves, carried shields and spears. Armor heavy, steps slowed, sweat gathered. Yet soldiers moved steadily, breath measured, bodies trained to endure. Silence lay in discipline, in strength carried quietly. Picture dawn camp. Soldiers sit polishing shields, adjusting straps. Sunday rises, helmets glow, no shouting, only murmurs. Clink of bronze, calm readiness. The phalanx formed. Phalanx was order of men, shields locked, spears forward, steps together. Each man one part of wall, each wall part of whole. Strength not in single hero, but in calm unity. Silence of phalanx more powerful than noise of enemies. Imagine plain at noon, to lines face. Greek phalanx advances, steps steady, shields touching. No cries, only thud of sandals, rustle of spears, silence itself weapon. Training in silence, soldiers trained daily marching, turning, locking shields. Trainers gave signals, men obeyed swiftly. Little need for words, only gesture, nod, rhythm. Discipline built through repetition, through patience. Picture field outside city. Men march in rows. Trainer raises hand, they halt. He lowers, they advance. Dust rises, sandals thud. No cries, only silence of obedience. Camp life, much soldiers' time not in battle, but in camp. Fires lit, bread baked, spears repaired, cloaks mended. Men spoke softly, shared meals, told stories. Nights filled with watchful silence, stars endless above. Imagine camp at dusk, fires glow. Men sit in circle, eat bread, olives, figs. One hums tune, others listen. Spears stacked, shields rest. Silence hums with companionship. The shield as bondage shield protected not only bearer, but men beside. Soldiers depended on neighbor's arm, neighbor's courage. Silence of trust bound them tighter than iron. Picture line of men. One stumbles, neighbor steadies him. Shield tilts, gap filled. Silence passes between eyes, bond unspoken. Phalanx whole again. The ritual of departure before campaigns. Families gathered, prayers offered, oil sprinkled. Soldiers embraced children, kissed wives, bowed to elders. Farewell quiet, heavy is steady. Departure marked by silence, not by cries. Imagine city gate, soldiers lined, families weep softly. Priest pours oil, flame flickers. Soldiers bow heads, march away. Sandals tap, silence deep. The calm before battle, greatest silence lay before clash. Lines formed, men breathed deep, hearts steady. World hushed, birds ceased, wind stilled. For moment, eternity rested in silence. Picture dawn battlefield. Mist low, men stand ready. Spears lowered, shields braced. Commander raises hand, holds silence so deep it hums, then signal given. After battle, after noise, came silence again, field quiet. Men tended wounds, carried fallen, prayed. Victory or loss, silence wrapped all. Grief and relief shared in calm. Imagine sunset field, fires lit, wounded groan softly, elders chant prayers. Soldiers sit apart, gaze at horizon. Silence heavier than bronze. The veterans' memory with years, soldiers aged return to fields, markets, homes. Yet memory of phalanx remained discipline, trust silence. They taught sons patience, endurance, courage without roar. Picture old soldier in courtyard. He shows grandson scar, says softly, stand steady. That is all. Boy nods, silence holds. Legacy of the phalanx. A phalanx remembered in histories, in statues, in ruins. Yet its true legacy is not noise of war, but quiet of discipline, of unity. Its silence still whispers in stones of Greece. The Greek soldier was not thunder of conquest. He was rhythm of feet, sigh of breath, hush of shield wall. And in that hush lay eternity of strength. Beneath the temples and markets, beyond the theaters and gymnasiums, lay the quiet labor of the farmer. Without his hands, polis could not eat, armies could not march, feasts could not glow. Yet farmer's life was not thunderous. It was rhythm of seasons, patience of soil, silence of fields at dawn. Greek farmer lived close to earth, his days guided by sun, rain, and stars. His strength lay in quiet endurance, his wealth in steady harvest. The dawn in the fields' work began before sun rose. Farmers stepped into fields with sickles, hoes, oxen. Dew shimmered. Birds stirred, air cool, silence deep, broken only by bleat of goat, creak of yoke, sigh of soil. Day unfolded gently. Picture dawn hillside. Farmer bends hand steady on plow. Ox pulls slowly, earth turns dark and fresh. Sky glows pink, cicadas silent still. Silence of new day hums. The grain as foundation wheat, and barley fed Greece. Farmers sowed in autumn, prayed for rain, watched sprouts rise. Spring green shimmered, summer gold rippled. Harvest slow, steady, sickles cutting, sheaves tied, grain stored in jars. Bread of polis born in silence of fields. Imagine harvest. Noon, sun fierce. Men swing sickles, women bind sheaves, children gather straws. Sweat drips, yet voices low, steady, wind rustles golden stalks. Silence wrapped in labor. The vine and the olive beside grain grew vines and olives. Farmers pruned, tied, waited, grapes ripened purple, crushed for wine, olives plucked, pressed for oil. Both required patience, care through years. Vineyards hummed with bees. Groves whispered with wind. Picture autumn press. Grapes trampled. Juice flows. Children laugh, feet stained red. Men pour into jars. Women sing hymn to Dionysus. Evening glows. Silence tender. The tools of simplicity. Tools simple. Wooden plow, stone hoe, bronze sickle. Farmers relied not on machines, but on patience, on family hands. Each mark of tool carved rhythm of life. Imagine shed at dusk. Plow rests, hoe leans, sickle gleams. Farmer wipes tools, hums tune. Child asks, why so careful? He smiles. Tools carry tomorrow. Silence affirms. The farmer's family whole family worked. Men plowed, women wove baskets. Children gleaned grain, elders watched flocks. Work shared, meal shared, rest shared. Field not burden but bond. Picture summer field. Mother bends among vines. Child gathers grapes in basket. Father loads cart. Grandfather sits beneath olive tree, staff in hand, eyes calm. Silence binds generations. The seasons of patience, autumn sowing, winter watching, spring greening, summer harvest. Each season brought task. Each task carried silence. Farmer learned patience deeper than soldier, deeper than merchant. Soil taught. Hewn time. Imagine winter night. Field bare, frost white. Farmer sits by fire, sharpening sickle, waiting for spring. Family quiet, hope steady. Silence of season instructs. The ritual of offering at harvest. Farmers offered first fruits, grain, wine, oil to gods. Altars smoked, priests blessed, gratitude whispered in silence, joy carried in wreaths, farm and faith one circle. Picture harvest festival. Basket of grain set at altar, jar of wine poured, olive branch raised. Priest chants softly, crowd bows, silence deepens, fields blessed. Hardship and resilience fields gave, but also withheld. Drought burned, storm flooded, pests devoured, farmers endured with patience, mended, sought again, silence of resilience stronger than complaint. Imagine barren summer, cracked soil, vines wilt, farmer kneels, touches earth sighs. He whispers, we wait, silence answers, hope endures. The farmer rest after day, farmers sat in courtyards, ate bread, olives, figs. Children slept, stars rose, tired bodies rested, but minds calm, hearts steady. Silence of satisfaction filled night. Picture evening courtyard. Lamp glows, bread broken, wine poured. Farmer leans back, gazes at stars. He says softly, soil gave enough. Family nods, silence content. The legacy of fields without farmers. Temples empty. Markets bare, theaters quiet, their names lost, but their labor eternal. Today, hills of Greece still ripple with grain, still glow with vines and olives. Silence of fields endures. The Greek farmer was not thunder of fame. He was sigh of plow, hum of bees, rustle of vine leaves. And in that sigh lay eternity of Greece. Behind the shining temples and the sturdy ships, behind the shields of soldiers and the tools of farmers, there were the quiet workshops of Greek craftsmen. They worked in dim courtyards, shaded by vines, or in narrow streets where hammers rang softly and sawdust perfumed the air. Their names seldom remembered, yet their hands shaped Greece. The carpenter who bent wood into graceful curves, the bronzesmith who poured glowing metal into form, the leatherworker who stitched sandals, each lived in rhythm of patience, each labored in silence deeper than fame. The carpenter's touch, carpenters shaped ships, chariots, furniture. They knew grain of wood, listened to knots, guided saws gently. No roar of machines, only whisper of blade, creak of wood, sigh of shavings. Each board bent with patience, each joint fitted with care. Picture dawn shop. Carpenter bends over plank, saw slides slow. Sunlight falls through shutter, dust glitters. Child gathers shavings, laughs. Silence hums with work. The shipbuilder's patient ships born not in noise, but steady rhythm. Ribs of wood bent, planks pegged, seams tarred. Days stretched into months. Men worked side by side. Hammer tapped soft, ropes creaked, gulls cried. Ship grew like tree from seed. Imagine shipyard by sea. Skeleton of trireme rises. Men climb ladders, fit boards. One hums tune, others join. Waves lap, silence deepens. Ship waits for sails. The bronzesmith's firebrand smiths melted copper and tin, poured into molds, shaped into helmets, spears, cups, statues. Fire glowed, metal hissed, hammers tapped. Glow fierce, but work calm, patient. From flame emerged beauty, from silent strength. Picture evening forge. Fire roars low, bronze glows red. Smith lifts ladle, pours into mold. Sparks drift, shadows flicker. He waits, breath steady. Silence holds transformation. The potter and painter thou already seen in groves and markets. Craftsmen of clay worked in quiet shops too. Wheels spun, brushes traced fine lines. Each face held story, myth, memory. Yet painter's voice low, hand steady, silence guiding. Imagine lamplit corner. Painter leans close, brush fine as hair. He paints heracles resting, cloak folded outside. Night hums inside, silence eternal. The leatherworkers stitch sandals, shields, straps leather shaped with knives, all's thread. Craftsmen bent close, pierced slowly, pulled taut. Work steady, simple, strong, without sandals. No soldier marched, without straps. No shield held. Picture midday workshop, leather laid, all pressed, needle slides. Craftsman hums into Hephaestus. Child tries, stitch fails, laughs, silence kind. The weaver of wood and reed by on cloth, reeds woven into chairs, baskets, mats. Craftsmen sat cross-legged, fingers darting, weaving patterns like rivers. Quiet art of daily life, unnoticed yet eternal. Imagine shaded porch. Old man weaves basket, child watches, tries. Birds chirp, reed rustles, silence woven with care. Workshop, as family workshops, often family places. Father taught son, mother spun thread, daughter painted. Apprentices learned. Knowledge passed in silence, by watching, by doing. Lessons not shouted, but shown. Picture afternoon shop. Father hammers bronze, son holds mold. Mother weaves basket, daughter paints vase. Apprentice sweeps, voices low, smiles steady. Silence. Of unity. Ritual of offering. Craftsmen prayed before work, offering all to Hephaestus, god of fire and craft. They sprinkled wine, lit small flames, whispered thanks for hands steady, tools sharp. Ritual simple, sacred. Imagined on altar. Smith places olive branch, murmurs, guide my hands. He lights coal, picks hammer. Silence sanctifies craft. The aging craftsman with age and slowed. Eyes dimmed, but skill remained. Elder craftsman sat, guided younger, corrected gently. His silence heavier than words, his presence legacy. Picture twilight shop. Young man saws too quickly. Elder shakes head, smiles, places hand, slows motion. Saw hums steady. Silence teaches. The legacy of craftsmen. Thou names forgotten. Their work endured temples, beams, ships' hulls, vases, forms, sandals, straps. Today, ruins still whisper of their touch. Silent workshops built creased. The Greek craftsman was not roar of fane. He was tap of hammer, hum of saw, sigh of reed. And in that sigh lay eternity of creation. In the story of ancient Greece, much is written of warriors, philosophers, and kings. Yet behind them, unseen but ever present, stood the quiet strength of women. Their hands kept hearths burning, their looms humming, their families bound together. They seldom spoke in assemblies, but their silence was not weakness. It was endurance, patience, and care, the quiet thread that held polis together. From weaving cloth to tending children, from pouring libations to guiding prayers, Greek women shaped life in stillness that endured longer than speeches. The hearth as center at heart of every home, burned hearth, sacred to Hestia. Women tended flame, fed it wood, sprinkled oil. Hearth gave warmth, cooked meals, lit nights, ironed it. Family gathered, stories told, prayers whispered. Woman keeper of flame, guardian of home's silence. Pictured on hearth, mother kneels. Flame flickers, she sprinkles oil, bows head. Hestia, guard this house. Children stir, father enters. Silence glows in firelight. The loom and the thread loom stood in many homes, tall, steady. Women wove daily, wool spun, threads crossed, patterns formed. Each garment born of patience, each cloth woven in silence. Loom song soft as prayer, shuttles tapping steady. Imagine courtyard loom. Woman stands, hands steady, threads tighten, cloth grows. Daughter beside hums tune, learns rhythm. Birds sing, silence hums with weaving. The ritual of libation. Women poured libations to God's wine, oil, water at shrines and homes, at festivals, in processions. Their prayers low, gestures calm. They carried piety in silence, sanctifying family. Picture evening courtyard, small altar lit. Mother pours wine, whispers thanks. Children bow, father nods, stars glow. Silence sacred. The care of children. Mothers taught children songs, stories, prayers. They nursed, comforted, guided with gentle words. Fathers gave laws, but mothers gave rhythm of life. Silence of care more lasting than speeches. Imagine midday lane. Mother sings lullaby. Child sleeps in arms. Older child listens, learns rhyme. Breeze stirs, silence deepens. Hearth hums with love. Women at festival show, often apart from politics. Women central in festivals. They carried baskets of grain, wove garlands, lit lamps. At these Mophoria, they prayed for fertility of earth. Their presence quiet, their devotion deep. Picture festival morning. Women walk in procession, heads crowned with leaves. They carry baskets, step steady, voices low. Silence of reverence fills city. The strength of waiting when husbands, sons, fathers went to war, women waited. They kept homes, tilled small fields, raised children, prayed, waiting heavy, yet carried in silence, strength unseen but vital. Imagine, city gate, women stand watching phalanx march. They hold children, wipe tears, whisper blessings. Silence follows soldiers, stronger than cries. The widow and the elder widows carried homes alone. Elders guided younger women. They spun, baked, prayed, talked. Their wisdom unspoken, their presence quiet, anchored. Picture evening hearth. Elder woman stirs pot, tells granddaughter. Patience is strongest thread. Girl listens. Hums, silence binds lesson. The myth of women. Evan myths remembered quiet women. Penelope weaving by lamplight, waiting for Odysseus. Antigone standing firm, burying brother. Alcestis offering life for husband. Their strength lay not in roar but in silence. Imagine Penelope at loom, night deep, lamp glows. She unweaves cloth, patience endless. Silence carries her faith. The balance of polis. While men debated in agro, women shaped polis quietly. They wove garments, baked bread, tended shrines, taught children. Without their silence, polis could not endure. Picture marketplace morning. Men gather in debate. Meanwhile, woman sells cloth, offers bread, teaches child rhyme. Polis breathes through her quiet rhythm. The eternal thread. Centuries past, women's silence remains woven into history. Cloths faded, homes crumble, but memory endures in myths, in ruins, in timeless hearths. Their quiet strength eternal. The Greek woman was not thunder of order. She was hum of loom, sigh of prayer, whisper of lullaby, glow of hearth. And in that whisper lay eternity of Greece. In ancient Greece, music was not only for festivals or great celebrations. It lived in courtyards, in workshops, in shepherd fields, in temples. It was thread binding myth, ritual, and daily life. Yet Greek music was not always thunder of chorus or roar of theater. It was soft lyre strummed in evening, pipe played by shepherd at dawn, hymn whispered in temple. Musicians shaped rhythm of life quietly, guiding hearts with harmony more lasting than noise. The lyre's gentle strings, lyres small, carried easily, played by poets, children, travelers. Fingers plucked gently, notes shimmered like water. Songs of gods, of heroes, of love flowed softly. Lyre not instrument of power, but of intimacy, closeness, calm. Picture twilight courtyard. Poet sits on stool, plucks lyre, sings softly. Family gathers, bread shared, wine poured, children drowse. Stars glow, silence wrapped in music. The pipes of the shepherdollos or panpipes sang in fields. Shepherds carved reeds, tied them, blew gently. Notes drifted with wind, blending with bleat of sheep, hum of bees. Music not performance, but companion of solitude. Imagine dawn hillside. Shepherd sits, flock grazing. He lifts panpipes, plays simple tune. Sun rises, mist fades, silence hums with melody. The hymns of the temples echoed with hymns. Priests and priestesses sang slowly, voices rising in unison. Flutes accompanied, drums beat softly. Hymns not shouted, but steady, reverent. Music became prayer. Picture festival morning. Smoke rises, priestess sings into Apollo. Chorus joins, flute sighs. Worshippers bow, silence deepens, harmony sanctifies. The dance of music, guided dance, youths moving in circles, women stepping lightly, feet tapping rhythm, flutes, drums, clapping hands mark beat. Yet even in dance, remain steps measured, movements graceful. Imagine evening square. Young men leap, women spin, children clap, flute plays. Drum beats slow, laughter soft, silence frames joy. The poets saw musicians, often poets. They sang of myths, battles, loves, yet their songs not always for crowds, sometimes for small gatherings, for friends, for hearths. Words and melody woven together, soft tapestry of memory. Picture lamplight. Bard sings tale of Orpheus, voice low, listeners lean close, eyes shine. Lyre hums, Silence carries weight of story. Music and education. Child and learned music as part of education. Boys played lyre. Learned rhythm, sang hymns. Music shaped character, taught harmony, patience. Teachers corrected gently, guided softly. Imagine school porch. Boy plucks string, winces. Teacher smiles, adjusts hand. Listen to silence between notes. Boy nods, tries again. Music grows. Music of work of and labor guided by song. Rowers sang. In rhythm, potters hummed at wheel. Women weaving sang patterns. Music softened toil, made silence companion. Picture ship at sea, oars dip. Men chant low, stroke, stroke. Sea sighs, gulls call. Silence and song blend. Music of mourning at funerals. Flutes played laments. Women sang dirges, voices trembling soft. Music gave sorrow rhythm, shaped grief into silence. Imagine grave at dusk. Women sing low, flutes sigh, mourners bow, tears fall. Silence receives song. The aging musician, old musicians played slower, but deeper. Their notes carried weight, their silences longer. Students listened, absorbed calm. Legacy not in fame, but in whisper of strings. Picture old man at hearth, his lyre cracked, voice soft. He plays lullaby, children sleep. Silence eternal. The legacy of music, thou instruments changed, ruins stand. Silent echoes gone, music of Greece lingers in memory. Lyres in museums, flutes broken, but silence still hums with songs once sung. The Greek musician was not thunder of orchestra. He was sigh of string, breath of pipe, murmur of hymn. And in that murmur lay eternity of harmony. In ancient Greece, feasts were not always thunderous banquets filled with endless noise. Many were simple gatherings in courtyards, in gardens, in shaded porches, families, friends, neighbors sharing bread, wine, laughter, and stories. Some feasts honored gods, others celebrated harvest, weddings, or victories. Yet beneath song and dance, there was rhythm of calm, bread broken gently, wine poured slowly, words spoken softly. The feast was not only about plenty, but about togetherness, about silence woven into joy. The preparation of the table before feast. Women baked bread, roasted lamb, arranged figs, olives, cheese. Men fetched wine, mixed with water in craters, set cups ready. Children carried baskets, spread rugs, lit lamps. Preparation itself ritual of calm cooperation. Picture summer courtyard. Loaves cooling on table, olives glistening in bowls, jugs of wine ready. Mother places figs, father lifts jug. Children giggle as they carry bread. Silence of expectation hums. The first libation. Every feast began with libation. Host poured wine for gods, sprinkled on ground, lifted cup. Guests bowed heads, murmured thanks. Silence marked beginning, turning meal sacred. Imagine evening, lamps glow, host lifts cup to Zeus, protector of guests. He pours a little, drinks. Guests follow quiet. Feast begins in reverence. The sharing of bread central to feast, symbol of life, harvest, unity. Loaves torn, passed by hand. Each guest received piece, dipped in oil, tasted slowly. Silence of sharing bound them. Picture table circle. Father breaks loaf, passes to son, to friend, to guest. Oil glistens, figs sweet, voices low, silence steady. The cups of wine not drunk pure, but mixed with water, shared in measured cups. Craters stood at center, ladles lifted gently, cups passed. Toasts spoken softly, laughter warm, not loud. Imagine shaded porch. Men recline, sip slowly. One tells story, others smile. Jug passed, silence between words, joy calm steady. The songs of the feast guests sang hymns, poems, playful songs. Lyre strummed, flute hummed, yet songs not thunder, but soft voices blending. With night air, with cicadas, with stars. Picture night garden. Young man sings into Apollo, lyre shimmering. Guests hum refrain, stars above, silence around. Song floats gently. The games and talk after eating. Guests played kotabos, flicking wine dregs at targets or riddles, or recited verses. Talk flowed of myths, of journeys, of philosophy, not debates. but gentle sharing. Imagine circle of men. One asks riddle, others guess, laugh softly. Another quotes Homer, voices nod, silence carries thought. The feast of familiars feasts, also simple family meals beneath vines. Bread, cheese, olives, figs, laughter of children. No guests, no ceremony, yet calm joy eternal. Picture autumn evening. Family sits on rugs. Children eat grapes. Mother smiles. Father pours wine. Dove coos. Lamp glows. Silence of contentment. Feasts. For the gods festivals held larger feasts. Animals sacrificed. Meat roasted. Wine shared with city. Yet even then calm moments found in prayers, in pauses, in silent gratitude. Imagine Panathenaic feast. Fires glow, meat shared, citizens sit together. Priest raises hand, crowd bows. Silence deep amid plenty. The end of the feast when lamps burned low, guests rose. Thanked host. Left quietly. Host sprinkled last libation, poured wine for Hestia. Courtyard emptied, night deepened. Silence returned. Picture midnight. Host stands by fading fire, pours final cup. For Hestia, he smiles. Family rests. Silence embraces housed up. The legacy of the feasts of Greece live on in memory, in myths, in pottery scenes, in stories. Bread and wine still shared, families still gather. Silence still blesses meal. The Greek feast was not roar of excess. It was breaking of bread, sip of wine, murmur of song, hush of prayer, and in that hush lay eternity of joy. In ancient Greece, journeys stretched not only across seas but along winding roads that threaded between olive groves, climbed hillsides, and traced shorelines. Travelers walked with sandals dusty, staffs steady, cloaks wrapped against wind. Some traveled for trade, some for pilgrimage, some for learning, others simply to return home. Roads of Greece did not roar with wagons or armies alone. They whispered with footsteps, murmured with conversations, and hummed with silence of patient miles. The road at dawn, travelers set out, villages still asleep, hearths faintly glowing, cocks crowing, roads cool, air fresh, dew on grass, steps light, hearts steady, silence wide. Picture dusty path beneath olives. Traveler lifts staff, adjusts pack, walks slowly. Sun rises, hills glow gold, birds stir, silence holds journey. The pilgrim's path. Many walk to temples, Delphi, Olympia, Eleusis. Pilgrims carried baskets, garlands, jars of oil, songs whispered, prayers spoken. Road itself became part of ritual, each step meditation. Imagine group at noon. Women carry wreaths, men hold lamb for sacrifice, children skip ahead. Path curves through grove, cicadas sing. Silence frames devotion. The merchants journey merchants. Carried jars of wine, oil, cloth. Donkeys laden, carts creaked. Yet trade not rush, but patience. Roads slow, markets distant. Silence long companion. Picture mountain road. Merchant walks beside donkey, hums tune, load sways, bell jingles softly. Wine cool, pine scent strong. Silence steady. The students wander. Students travel to hear philosophers, to join schools in Athens. Scrolls packed, sandals worn, a long road. They recited verses, pondered questions. Journey itself part of learning. Imagine youth walking by. See, he repeats Homer aloud, gestures to waves. Seagull cries, tide hums. Silence of thought deeper than words. Inns and resting place, roads dotted within simple courtyards. Bread and olives served, straw beds offered. Travelers gathered, shared stories, listened, rested. Nights quiet, stars wide, silence healing. Pictured at dusk. Lamp glows, host offers bread, traveler drinks water, sighs. Others nod, listen, silence soft, restful. The mountains and the silence. Many roads climbed mountains, narrow, stony soul. Travelers paused, gazed at valleys below, peaks above. Air thin, wind clear, silence immense. Imagine pass at noon. Traveler stops, leans on staff. Valley spreads green, sea glimmers far. He breathes deep, closes eyes. Silence vast. The roads by the sea, some paths traced shorelines. Waves lapped rocks. Gulls circled, sails glided beyond. Travelers walked with sea's rhythm beside them. Picture. Road at evening, traveler walks, sandals wet from spray, sun sinks red into water, sea sighs, silence endless. The companions of travel, some traveled alone, others in groups. Companions shared bread, guarded each other, told tales, silence of company stronger than solitude, laughter softening road. Imagine group at fire, travelers sit, eat figs, sip wine. One tells story, others smile, stars glow, silence embraces. All docked the return home, sweetest road was return. Travelers nearing village saw roofs, heard dogs snulled bread. Steps quickened, hearts lifted, silence gave way to murmurs of reunion. Picture dusk lane, traveler enters gate, children run, wife smiles, dog leaps. Bread shared, wine poured, silence shifts to joy. The eternal road today, ruins of Greek roads. Remain stone ruts, paths through groves, trails by sea. Tourists walk, imagine sandals, staffs, donkeys. Silence still hums with memory of journeys. The Greek road was not thunder of empire. It was sigh of staff, murmur of prayer, whisper of wave, and in that whisper lay eternity of travel. In ancient Greece, beyond crowded agors and noisy festivals, there were gardens, quiet places of shade, water, and thought. Some belonged to philosophers, some to temples, some to households. In these groves, people found rest, reflection, and balance. Trees whispered with wind, fountains murmured, birds sang softly. Gardens were not merely decoration. They were sanctuaries of calm, spaces where life slowed, where wisdom and silence grew side by side. The grove of the Academy, Plato's Academy, stood not as marble hall, but as grove of olives outside Athens. Students walked shaded paths, paused beneath trees, spoke softly of justice, truth, virtue. Lessons shaped by silence of leaves, rhythm of steps, calm of air. Picture morning grove. Dew glistens, branches sway. Plato gestures gently, students listen. One asks question, others nod. Silence between words carries meaning. The Lyceum of Aristotle taught in Lyceum, where gardens stretched with paths, streams, plants. He observed nature, leaves, insects, fish. Students followed, writing, watching. Garden itself teacher, silence guide. Imagine midday garden. Aristotle lifts plant, shows veins. Life flows here. Students lean close, cicadas hum, silence. Lens with lesson. The garden of Epicurus. Epicurus created garden school, not grandeur, but intimacy. Benches, vines, fruit trees. Students ate bread, figs, olives, discussed happiness. Philosophy gentle, friendship central. Silence nourishing. Picture afternoon garden. Bees hum, figs sweet, laughter soft. Epicurus says, happiness simple, bread, water, friend beside you. Students smile. Silence steady. The household garden. Even modest homes had small courtyards with vines, herbs, fountains. Families gathered, worked, rested. Garden not wealth, but peace. Shade of vine enough, murmur of fountain calm. Imagine evening courtyard. Mother tends basil, father waters vine, children play. Lamp glows, bread shared. Silence hums with belonging. The sacred grove. Temples often surrounded by sacred groves. Pilgrims entered softly, carrying wreaths, offerings. Trees ancient, air still, birds hushed. Silence deep, presence felt. Picture olive grove near temple. Pilgrims bow, priestess sprinkles water. Leaves shimmer, doves coo, silence sacred. The garden as refuge. Travelers, elders, poets, all sought gardens for rest. Shade cooled, benches welcomed, fountains soothe. No speeches, no trade, only silence. Garden became refuge from polis noise. Imagine old man sitting beneath plane tree. He closes eyes, listens to leaves. Staff rests, breath steady. Silence comforts. The garden and seasons. Gardens change gently. Spring blossoms, summer shade, autumn fruits, winter stillness. Each season offered new calm, new rhythm. Life cycle mirrored in grove. Picture autumn vine. Grapes heavy, leaves gold. Children pick fruit, laugh softly. Parents press juice, smile. Silence hums with plenty. The student in garden students carried scrolls, read beneath trees, wrote verses, thought deeply. Silence gave space to thought. Garden cradle of philosophy. Imagine youth at fountain. He writes line. Virtue is harmony. He pauses, listens to water. Silence guides words. The garden at night. Gardens glowed with lamps. Stars above. Families sat. Friends gathered. Lovers walked. Air cool, silence sweet. Night garden held calm deeper than day. Picture night courtyard. Lamp flickers. Vine shadows dance. Friends sip wine, hum tune. Silence of stars wraps all. Eternal garden vow centuries past. Gardens remain ruins with olives, courtyards. With vines, groves by temples. Travelers sit, rest, listen. Silence of Greece still alive in trees. The Greek garden was not thunder of power. It was sigh of leaf, murmur of fountain, whisper of vine, and in that whisper lay eternity of rest. Amid hills and valleys of Greece, rising above markets and homes, stood temples. They were not places of noise alone, but sanctuaries of silence. Their columns lifted eyes to sky. Their altars glowed with flame. Their statues watched with stillness. To step into a temple was to step into calm, shoes quiet on marble. Breath slowed, voices hushed. Though gods mighty, their presence often felt in silence, in soft prayer, in whisper of incense smoke drifting upward. The dawn offering at dawn, priests entered temples, lit lamps, sprinkled water, offered bread or oil. Temple empty but for flame and statue. Silence deep, sacred. Picture marble steps pale with dew. Priestess kneels, sets bowl of grain. Smoke curls, doves coo. Temple stones glow with morning light. Silence eternal. The columns and the light temples built with columns tall, balanced, steady. Light filtered through, shadows stretched long, space filled not with sound, but with order, harmony, calm. Architecture itself, prayer in stone. Imagine noon Parthenon, sun strikes marble. Columns glow gold, inside cool air, shadows deep. Statue of Athena shines faintly. Visitors whisper, silence dominates. The statue in stillness within temples stood statues of gods, ivory, gold, bronze, marble. Eyes fixed, faces serene, people bowed, left offerings, whispered prayers, statue unmoving, yet presence overwhelming. Silence made divinity visible. Picture worshipper at Zeus' temple. He places olive wreath, kneels, statue immense, calm, unmoving, air heavy with incense. Silence breathes. The ritual procession, festive led processions to temples. Crowds walk slowly, bearing wreaths, oil, animals. Steps measured, voices low, drums steady. Procession calm as river. Temple destination of silence. Imagine Panathenaic procession. Youths carry sacred robe, women lift baskets, elders lead oxen. Marble gleams, chants low. Silence within motion. The sacrifice and prayer at altar. Animals sacrificed, oil poured, prayers spoken. Flames rose, smoke drifted. Words slow, voices low. Sacrifice not roar, but ritual of silence. Gratitude. Picture evening temple. Priest raises knife, chants softly. Fire glows, crowd bows. Smoke rises, silence sanctifies. The pilgrims visit from afar. Pilgrims travel to Delphi, Olympia, Eleusis. Their journey's long. Steps dusty, but upon reaching temple, silence embraced. Them, they touch stone, left offerings. Breathe calm. Imagine pilgrim entering Delphi. He gazes at columns, hears spring flowing. He kneels, whispers to Apollo. Silence answers in wind. The oracles whisper of Delphi. Oracles spoke not in thunder, but in whispers. Priestess inhaled vapors, murmured words. Silence of crowd deep, each word precious. Prophecy lived in hush. Picture dark chamber. Priestess sways, voice soft. Pilgrims lean close, listening. Flame flickers, silence heavy. Words float like mist. The temple at night. Temples glowed with lamps, stars above. Priests tended fires, travelers slept nearby. Owls called. Columns cast long shadows. Silence wrapped all. Imagine Acropolis night. Torches flicker, breeze cool, city below hushed. Temple stands calm, stone eternal. silence deeper than day. The stones that remain today, ruins of temples still rise. Columns broken, statues gone, roofs fallen. Yet silence remains. Travelers walk slowly, touch stone, listen to wind, gods still present in hush. The Greek temple was not thunder of crowd, was glow of flame, murmur of prayer, hush of stone, and in that hush lay eternity of worship. Philosophers of Greece did not always speak from marble benches or shaded porches. Often, their lessons unfolded while walking, step by step, thought by thought. Ideas flowed like rhythm of feet on stone. Walks through groves along colonnades, by seashores became classrooms without walls. The philosopher's walk was not hurried, but slow, measured in harmony with silence of world around. In these calm strolls, wisdom grew like trees in quiet soil. The strolling teacher Socrates often walked streets of Athens, engaging citizens. He did not shout, but asked questions, step by step. His companions followed, puzzled, amused, thoughtful. His walk a moving dialogue, silence as important as words. Picture morning street. Socrates pauses, asks youth, what is courage? Youth stammers, friends laugh softly. They walk on, sandals tapping. Silence carries weight of question. The Lyceum path, Aristotle known for peripatetic teaching, walking as he spoke, passive. Lyceum filled with students trailing, listening, writing, lesson moved with pace of footsteps. Nature and thought blended in silence of garden air. That imagine noon Lyceum path. Aristotle gestures to tree, observe, and truth appears. Students note, nod, cicadas hum, sandals scrape. Silence guides. The garden walk. Epicurus walked with friends in his garden. Steps slow, voices calm, discussions gentle of pleasure. Friendship, peace, walk itself part of teaching. Harmony of body and thought. Picture evening garden. Bees hum, figs hang ripe. Epicurus walks, says softly, happiness is simple. Friends smile, nod. Silence ripens lesson. The Stoic stroll. Zeno taught in store porches of painted columns. He walked slowly, cloak plain, words steady. Passers-by listened, students followed. Steps matched calm of doctrine, endurance, harmony with nature. Imagine twilight porch. Zeno walks, speaks, live with reason. Columns glow, shadows stretch. Students nod in silence. Walks by the sea. Philosophers often walked beaches. Waves murmured, gulls cried, horizon stretched. Sea mirrored vastness of thought. Steps in sand matched flow of questions. Silence of sea deepened reflection. Picture dawn shore. Philosopher paces. Student beside. He points to tide. All returns. Waves sigh. Silence affirms. Walks of companionship. Philosophic walks, not lectures alone. Friends, students, strangers joined. They shared bread, figs, water, ideas. Walk itself community. Silence shared. Imagine hillside path. Group walks slowly. One speaks of justice, another of stars. Others listen, nod. Silence embraces all. The city walk of and within Athens. Philosophers walked among stalls, fountains, crowds, noise around. But within circle of dialogue, calm held, words flowed, questions turned, silence listened. Picture agronoom. Socrates stops by fountain, asks merchant, what is virtue? Crowd quiets, listens. Market hum fades, silence deepens. The walk of reflection. Samites. Philosophers walked alone, pondering, rehearsing, recalling. Steps measured, thoughts steady. Silence companion, road teacher. Many ideas born in solitude of walk. Imagine mountain path. Philosopher walks alone, staff steady. He murmurs line of poetry, smiles, thinks. Silence of hills carries him. The walk of age in old age. Philosophers still walked, though slower. Students matched pace, listened to fewer words, more silences. Steps shorter, meaning deeper. Walk itself became lesson. Picture Eldrin Grove. He walks slowly, pauses often. Students silent, waiting. He whispers. Wisdom is knowing silence. Steps continue. The legacy of the walk today. Ruins of paths remain, stone colonnades, groves, roads. Visitors walk slowly. Imagine sandals, Hear echoes of questions. Silence of walks still alive. The Greek philosophers' walk was not thunder of speeches. It was rhythm of sandals, murmur of dialogue, hush of sea breeze. And in that hush lay eternity of ideas. In the memory of ancient Greece, much is spoken of philosophers and warriors, but less often of artists, the painters of walls, the carvers of friezes, the makers of color and form. Their work filled temples, homes, stoas, and theaters. It gave life to stone, warmth to clay, beauty to ritual. Yet their art was not made in thunder, but in silence. Brush strokes laid gently, pigments ground patiently, chisels tacked softly. The artist's calm gave Greece its brightness, its grace, its soul. The wall painter homes and temples decorated with frescoes. Artists mixed lime and pigment, painted quickly before plaster dried. Scenes of fields, gods, myths appeared colors. Glowing softly, work required quiet concentration, patience, precision. Picture dawn chamber. Painter bends brush, fine paints vine curling along wall. Apprentice grinds ochre, mixes with water. Silence holds as leaf takes shape. The colors of pigment colors came from earth, red from ochre, blue from azurite, green from malachite, black from soot. Artists ground stones into powder. Mixed with water, boil, add, grinding slow, circular. Like prayer, pigments hummed with silence of earth. Imagine shaded workshop. Artist crushes stone, mortar hums, dust glitters in light. He stirs, nods, apprentice waits. Silence of creation grows. The sculpted Frisian temples, friezes carved processions, gods, battles. Sculptors tapped chisels softly. Month after month, figures emerged slowly, robes flowing, horses leaping, gods serene. Each detail whispered into stone. Picture midday scaffold. Sculptor crouches, strikes chisel lightly. Dust falls. Face of goddess appears. Workers below pause, watch. Silence hums in stone. The vase painters, artists painted vases with myths, Achilles, Heracles, gods, dancers. Brushes fine details, delicate hair, eyes, folds of robes, black figure or red figure. Each line guided by silence. Imagine lamplit studio. Artist leans close, paints chariot with thin brush. Apprentice holds vase steady. Night deep, silence steady. The theatrical painter theaters to held painted scenery, backdrops of palaces, forests, seas. Artists prepared them quietly before. Chorus sang, scenery not permanent, but gave depth, beauty. Their art fleeting, yet essential. Picture empty stage. Painter kneels, colors palace wall. Chorus rehearses softly nearby. Lamp glows, silence guides. The artist and the patron. Artists often worked for patrons, temple builders, wealthy citizens, festivals. Patron chose theme, artist cheeked vision. Dialogue polite. Voices low, gestures clear, collaboration calm. Imagine. Courtyard. Patron explains. Paint Dionysus with vine. Artist nods, sketches quietly. Child watches. Silence of trust binds. The artist at festival. During festivals, artists painted banners, decorated shrines, prepared garlands of color. Their hands steady, their work unseen amid celebration. Yet without them, festival dimmer. Picture festival. Dawn. Painter hangs bright cloth, brushes altar. Women bring flowers, men tie wreaths. Silence frames joy. The solitude of the artistic work done alone. Painter before wall, sculptor before stone, potter before vase. Silence deep, broken only by scraped brush, breath. Art born in solitude, carried into eternity. Imagine mountain workshop. Sculptor alone, statue half formed. He touches marble, sighs. Chisel lifts. Falls, silence eternal. The artist's teaching gutters. Taught apprentices how to grind pigment, stretch line, guide chisel. Lessons quiet, gestures steady. Words few, example much. Silence itself instruction. Picture studio. Master paints circle. Hands brush to student. Student trembles, tries. Master nods, corrects. Silence of patience teaches. The legacy of Greek artists, thou names forgotten. Their work endures. Fresco. Fragments, friezes in ruins, vases in museums, statues in halls. Their silence still visible. their patience eternal. The Greek artist was not roar of fame. He was whisper of brush, sigh of chisel, hum of color, and in that hum lay eternity of beauty. Among the many festivals of Greece, none carried both the weight of sacred ritual and the delight of art quite like the festivals of Dionysus, god of wine, theater, and renewal. Dionysus was honored with processions, sacrifices, songs, and dramas. Yet behind the applause and the masks, behind the chants and the dances, there were silences, pauses of reverence, moments of awe. Evenings of calm where the murmur of flutes blended with the hush of crowds beneath spring skies. The festival of Dionysus was not only celebration of noise, but of rhythm, of balance, of quiet joy. The procession at dawn festivities began with a slow procession. Citizens walked together, garlands on their heads, wineskins carried, sacred. Statue of Dionysus drawn upon cart. Musicians played softly, flutes sighing, drums steady, voices chanting low. Procession wound through city like river of devotion. Picture dawn Athens. Marble streets glow, petals scattered, torches flicker. Families walk slowly, children glance upward at statue. Silence within, music calm beneath steps. The offering at the theater of Dionysus. Offerings made, wine poured, animals sacrificed, prayers whispered before plays began. Silence embraced crowd. God invoked, ritual complete, festival. Sanctified. Imagine vast stone theater, thousands seated, yet quiet. Priest lifts bowl, pours wine, murmurs thanks. Flame rises, birds circle. Silence holds. The chorus and the sankara sang hymns to Dionysus, voices blending, feet stamping lightly, hands lifted. Their songs echoed across theater, but within rhythm lay calm dignity. Reverence, music not roar, but tide. Picture chorus. In masks, robes flowing, they step, sing, voices rise then fall, audience silent, listening, flute sigh. Silence binds sound. The drama unfolds, tragedies and comedies performed. Actors in masks, gestures wide, voices steady, stories of gods, heroes, fools told. Yet theater not only noise of words, but silence of audience, stillness between lines. Pause of actor holding crowd. Imagine play of Sophocles. Actor stands, mask solemn, lifts hand, he pauses, audience hushed, breath held, silence more powerful than speech. The joy of comedies to performed, Aristophanes mocking, jesting. Laughter rippled softly, not wild, audience smiled, nudged. Neighbors whispered jokes, joy gentle, woven with calm. Picture midday comedy. Actors prance, crowd chuckles, man leans to friend, repeats line. Both smile. Silence between laughter warm. The wine of celebration after plays. Citizens drank wine, ate bread, olives, figs. Music played, people danced, yet even in joy, rhythm slow, laughter soft. Wine shared quietly. Imagine evening courtyard. Groups recline, cups raised, one sings, others hum. Lamp glows, stars rise. Silence frames joy. The sacred renewal festival, not only art, but renewal of spirit. Dionysus, god of life, cycles death and rebirth, sorrow and joy. Through drama, people reflected, healed, grew. Silence gave depth to celebration. Picture dusk. Temple, priestess whispers prayer. May joy return, may sorrow pass. Smoke drifts, worshippers bow. Silence eternal. The youth in festival, children to partook, danced in circles, sang hymns, played games. Their voices high, laughter light. Festival memory etched in hearts for life. Imagine group of children. They skip, hands joined, crowd of ivy upon heads, flute plays, they hum. Silence carries innocence. The city transformed for days. City lived in festival. Work paused, markets quiet, families united. Noise of life replaced by rhythm of celebration. Streets glowed, temples shone. Silence of shared devotion beneath. Picture Athens at twilight. Torches line streets, laughter hums, music floats. Families walk together, neighbors greet. Silence of harmony beneath joy. The legacy of Dionysia, though centuries past, ruins of theater remain. Masks preserved, plays read, silence of festival still lingers in stones. Even today theater born of Greece whispers with Dionysus calm. The festival of Dionysus was not roar of crowd. It was hymn of chorus, pause of actor, murmur of flute, sip of wine, and in that murmur lay eternity of joy. We have wandered together, slowly, through the quiet echoes of ancient Greece, not in the roar of battle or the thunder of speeches, but in the hush of daily life, the murmur of song, the stillness of temples. Each step of this journey has been a gentle unfolding, as if walking through shaded colonnades, listening to cicadas, watching sunlight drift across marble. We began with the olive groves and the hearths of families, where mothers wove and fathers taught, where children played in dust and elders whispered myths by firelight. We walked through agoras, where sandals brushed stone and merchants murmured, through gymnasiums where youths trained in silence, through fields where farmers sowed grain, and through workshops where craftsmen tapped bronze and bent wood with patient hands. We paused in sacred temples, where priests lifted bowls of oil and statues gazed in stillness. We followed philosophers, as they walked slowly among trees, questioning and listening, their words balanced by silences deeper than arguments. We heard the soft notes of lyres, the breath of flutes, the murmur of hymns rising with incense. We sat at feasts where bread was broken, wine poured, stories told. We journeyed with travelers across dusty roads between mountain and sea, and we rested in gardens where wisdom and friendship bloomed like vines. We saw the artists, painters of fresco and potters of clay, sculptors of stone and teachers of apprentices who spoke with chisels and brushes, not with noise but with patience. We joined the chorus at festivals, where tragedy and comedy carried us from sorrow to laughter, but always within the rhythm of calm. And finally, we stood among ruins, listening to the whisper of olive leaves and the sigh of sea, feeling how silence itself carries the legacy of Greece. For ancient Greece is not only marble and myth, not only names carved in history, but quiet moments that have endured, the whisper of prayer, the hum of loom, the hush of audience, the silence between footsteps. These are the echoes that traveled across centuries, shaping art, thought, and life. Its greatness does not rest in the roar of empires, but in the stillness that invites reflection, the harmony that soothes, the calm that lasts. So now, as night deepens and your eyes grow heavy, let the gentle echoes of Greece cradle you. Think not of battles won or lost, but of olive groves in golden light, of philosophers walking slowly among trees, of families sharing bread in shaded courtyards. Let the silence of ancient Greece flow into your dreams, soft as sea breeze, eternal as stars.